Welcome to Tawazunat, a framework for attaining multidimensional balance toward greater happiness, success, and progress. In this episode, I will share a balanced approach to addressing the problems and obstacles we encounter in our lives. Now, people differ in how they confront challenges in their daily and professional lives. Generally, we can distinguish between two types of individuals. The first type surrenders at the first obstacle they encounter. They may become deeply negative, using obstacles as excuses for not achieving their goals or seeking sympathy from others. The other type challenges these problems and obstacles, viewing them as potential opportunities for greater success and happiness. As Karl Menninger wisely states, unrest of spirit is a mark of life. One problem after another presents itself, and in the solving of them we can find our greatest pleasure. Here are some practical and effective steps derived from Tawazunat's balanced approach to dealing with problems and obstacles. The first step is to avoid viewing problems as insurmountable. When we perceive a problem this way, it becomes a closed box that seems impossible to open. This perspective prevents us from distinguishing what lies inside, let alone managing its contents effectively. The second step involves breaking down the main elements of the problem. When a particular issue occupies our thoughts, we often associate many unrelated concerns with it, amplifying our perception of its size and complexity. By separating these elements and treating them as non-urgent side issues, we can alleviate the burden of the problem. Ray Kroc wisely states, "Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs." The intertwining of the problem's elements in our minds and their interconnection often becomes the problem itself. Simply separating the elements may surprise us by revealing that there is, in fact, no problem at all. Disentangling the elements requires challenging the assumption that solving one part of the problem depends on addressing the others. We often hesitate to tackle one aspect because we believe it necessitates resolving other elements. This creates a vicious cycle that hinders our progress. By liberating the elements from their interconnections, we open the path to resolving many of them. Addressing a specific element frequently facilitates the resolution of related issues. I often encounter individuals who don't follow the two steps above when dealing with problems, whether by viewing them as insurmountable, or by giving up due to preconceived assumptions about the problem or some of its elements. Once I convince them of the importance of viewing the problem as manageable, examining it from different angles, and challenging their preconceived assumptions, we often discover solutions that had not previously been considered. Typically, someone who has previously stopped trying to solve the problem will say, "If you want to look at the problem in this way, of course it can be solved." My usual response is, "Why not?" In this regard, Michael Flatley says, "Whenever I hear, 'it can't be done,' I know I'm close to success." The third step to positively dealing with problems and obstacles involves examining our role in the problems we face. It's easy to blame others, but we must consider that we might be part of the problem, if not entirely, at least in part. This self-bias can cloud our judgment and prevent us from viewing the issue from all angles. Adopting a mindset of, "we are dealing with problems caused by others," can hinder optimal solutions. Often, a simple change in our nature or attitudes can resolve a problem we mistakenly believe requires others to change. An old tale illustrates this point. A sultan injured his foot while inspecting a market and ordered that all market roads be covered with soft leather to avoid future injuries. One of his advisors suggested a more practical solution: cutting 2 pieces of soft leather and attaching them to the sultan's foot, leading to the invention of shoes. The fourth approach to positively dealing with problems involves situating them in different temporal and spatial contexts. Regarding changes in the spatial aspects of the problem, adjustments can be made to the conditions or locations of some of the problem's elements or the people involved. Moving one part, or a few parts, away from the others could solve a significant portion of the problem, clearing the way for the others. As for changes in temporal aspects, we can begin by considering how long the problem's effects persist over different periods of our lives, whether that be over a year, 5 years, or more. In doing this, we take into account natural changes, such as aging, social and economic changes associated with the passage of time, and the opportunities for resolving the problem in light of these changes. Often, examining a problem through various time frames reveals its limitations or the improbability of its effects persisting indefinitely. This realization can bring relief and inspire new approaches for resolving the problem or transforming it into a future opportunity. Regina Brett said, "Frame every so-called disaster with these words, 'In 5 years, will this matter?'" The fifth approach involves positively coexisting with problems we cannot overcome. Some problems remain unsolvable due to their inherent nature or the lack of suitable solutions. In such cases, it's essential to coexist with them in a way that minimizes their negative impact on us and others. Nonetheless, it's crucial to always remember not to totally surrender to any problem, no matter how great, and to continue striving for solutions, even if it looks currently unsolvable. While coexisting with unsolvable problems, we should not stop looking for solutions. By revisiting the problem periodically, especially in light of new developments, we may find ways to mitigate its effects. Thomas Edison remarked, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." We can achieve coexistence with unsolvable problems by comparing them to larger issues we've faced and recognizing that our current problem may not be as significant as it could have been. Gaining wisdom from the lessons learned by confronting these problems can help us avoid similar challenges in the future. Reframing the problem with personally and socially acceptable labels can also aid our ability to coexist with it until it is resolved or its effects diminish. I recall a story about a person who lived for years in a mental institution. He referred to this difficult period in his life with a laugh as his membership days in the club. Now, while taking the steps outlined above for dealing with problems and obstacles, we need to adopt attitudes and a mindset that can further facilitate this process. To start with, cultivating a growth mindset can transform how we perceive challenges. This involves reframing setbacks as learning opportunities and viewing challenges as chances to learn and grow, rather than as insurmountable failures. This perspective helps maintain morale and sustain motivation. We also need to take time to reflect on our progress, determining which strategies are effective and what requires adjustment. Patience is also essential, as the best solutions often evolve over time. By taking a positive approach to addressing problems and obstacles, whether by following the steps outlined above or exploring other methods, and by adopting the right attitude and mindset, we can discover numerous solutions. This allows us to transition from a state of suffering to one of positive influence in our lives. Now, after exploring practices that cultivate greater balance in our lives in the previous episodes, including fostering a positive perception of our reality, enhancing our outlook on the future, liberating ourselves from the burdens of the past, and addressing problems and obstacles, we will shift in the upcoming episodes to examine essential strategies for further improving our chances of leading a more balanced life. These strategies include aligning our priorities, selecting our battles wisely, and maintaining harmony between our actions and ethical values. In the meantime, some reflections for contemplation are included in the post below for further insights on dealing with problems and obstacles, along with Tawazunat website, which offers additional resources about Tawazunat concept, the author, and related books. I hope you join me in the forthcoming episodes as we embark on our journey toward greater balance.